Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of DNV Singapore Decarbonization Insights. I'm Dr. Shawin Osman, the host, as well as the Director for Maritime Decarbonization and Smart Shipping Centre of Excellence, and also the Global Business Development Leader for Maritime Advisory. Today, we are honoured to welcome two distinguished speakers, Vanessa Chow, the Associate Director at OCBC Sustainability Office for Global Wholesale Banking, as well as Lars Holtevert, the Head of DNV Maritime Advisory for Southeast Asia, Pacific and India. In our discussion, we will explore OCBC's perspective as financiers and gain insights into how they can play a key role in fostering a sustainable future for the maritime industry. Thank you, Vanessa, for joining us in this episode. We understand that in May 2023, OCBC announced its net zero targets, articulating the bank's expectation for its clients in emission-intensive sectors, and the bank's broad transition engagement for 6 priority sectors, including shipping. OCBC was also the first bank in Southeast Asia to adopt the Poseidon Principles, in short PP, in 2021, and has reported on its shipping portfolio for climate alignment on an annual basis ever since. Can you shed more light on the current state of sustainable finance and what OCBC is doing to encourage maritime decarbonization?
Thank you, Dr. Sharin, and thank you, DNV, for having me. So 2023 was definitely a pivotal year in terms of sustainability, not just for OCBC, but for the entire maritime sector as well. This is because in July 2023, the International Maritime Organization revised its greenhouse gas strategy to be significantly more ambitious. The revised trajectory aims to reach net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050 and is now aligned with a well below 2-degree scenario of the Paris Agreement. Separately, in the last year, we have also seen the development of taxonomies with transition criteria, with the Singapore Asia Taxonomy for Sustainable Finance, published by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, being the first one. Both these developments mean that there is more clarity on what can be deemed as a transition asset or project in the maritime sector, and we foresee that this will give rise to more transition financing. OCBC remains committed to actively engage with our clients to support them in their transition efforts, firstly through sustainable financing, secondly through strategic advisory, and thirdly through ecosystem partnerships.
Thank you, Vanessa, for sharing the OCBC good work and plan in the maritime sector. It's really impressive to see that OCBC not only improved its climate alignment in 2022 with the IMO 2018 target strategy, but also that you have surpassed the 2023 average alignment target set by the IMO for the Poseidon Principles signatories. What are some of OCBC's maritime financing activities that have contributed to such a great achievement?
Yes, so OCBC has offered sustainable financing to a number of our maritime clients. We have offered green and transition loans, whereby the loan proceeds are ring-fenced to finance vessels meeting the green or transition criteria. This allows our clients to invest in newer and cleaner vessels to replace the older ones, allowing them to renew their fleet. We've also offered several sustainability-linked loans, where the interest margin of the loan is pegged to the achievement of specific sustainability targets, including the reduction of carbon emissions. So this provides an incentive for our clients to reduce their fleet's carbon footprint.
Yes, thank you, Vanessa, for sharing some of the green and sustainable products which OCBC have offered to encourage the sector to transition towards become a more sustainable industry. However, with stricter upcoming regulation and framework, Lars, over to you. What do you see are the key challenges does the maritime sector face in tapping into sustainability financing?
Yeah, thank you, Sharin. First of all, it's great to be here in OCBC Tower. I think everyone is well aware of the new and ambitious IMO regulations that are aiming for a 20% reduction by 2030 and to achieve net zero by 2050. This was agreed at MEPC 80 last year. Furthermore, the new regulations are targeting well-to-wake instead of tank-to-wake, which is a lot more stringent as you have to look at the whole life cycle emissions of the fuel instead of just the combustion. I think in the next few years we will see some interesting but also very challenging updates from the IMO, potentially targeting the existing regulations such as CSI and EXI, which are currently based on tank-to-wake. I think this will definitely challenge the maritime industry to, among others, demonstrate that the abatement measures we are doing are actually helping, and we have to be able to verify the impacts to get, for example, sustainable financing. And this is definitely adding complexity, and the companies need to now navigate multiple frameworks, including various taxonomies. One topic I think is important is that certain segments like oil tankers and bulkers that are transporting fossil fuels are seen as dirty for some in the market, and it's extremely important that all assets have the same access to financing. I think we need to keep in mind that 1 ton of saved CO2 is the same regardless which segment it's from, and it's actually let's say the bad apples are the easiest to help, and to the smallest measures will have the biggest impact. Looking ahead, I also think the maritime sector is poised for a very profound period of transformation as the increasingly stringent sustainability requirements are coming into play. We will be moving from adopting new technologies to starting with new fuels. And I think it's extremely important to have good financing and capital for this to happen. And also the new regulations, we will see that there will be a shift towards a greener, greater transparency, and also more accountability in the emissions reporting.
Yes, thank you, Lars. It looks like the maritime and finance sectors have to overcome such, significant challenges together when it comes to decarbonization. With that said, how has DNV been supporting OCBC in its effort to decarbonize the sector?
Yeah, so I think Vanessa mentioned Poseidon Principles, and there we have been working with OCBC since 2021. I think what we are saying in DNV is what can be measured, can be managed, and I think Poseidon Principle is a really good example of that, because you see OCBC has been able to pinpoint which customers and especially which assets have not had as good sustainability values. So they have been able to offer incentives for them to decarbonize those assets, which has been a good way to target the low-hanging fruits. In addition to Poseidon Principle reporting, our goal in DNV is to be a trusted advisor. So we are helping with regular training and updates on regulatory requirements, as well as sharing best practices from the maritime industry. In addition to that, we have supported on second-party opinions and annual verifications for green and sustainable financing.
Indeed, our customer values such services to help them to make such strategic investment decisions. What is your take, Vanessa? How has the support from DNV benefited OCBC in your view?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Shireen. So DNV has been valuable in supporting OCBC in our journey on 2 main fronts. As mentioned by Lars, DNV has been supporting OCBC in our Poseidon Principles reporting journey. The process is a rather tedious one, as it involves the collection of actual data from our maritime clients, as well as calculating our portfolio's climate alignment in accordance with the Poseidon Principles methodology. And DNV has been instrumental in this process. Secondly, DNV has also supported a number of our sustainable finance transactions with our maritime clients by providing second-party opinions as well as annual validation for sustainability-linked loans. So thank you to the DNV team for your strong support the past few years.
Indeed, thank you, Vanessa. At DNV, we are driven by our purpose to safeguard life, property, and the environment. And we see it as our responsibility to support organizations such as OCBC to advance safety as well as sustainability. Collaboration is ultimately the key to achieving sustainability. How does OCBC work together with other stakeholders, such as the regulators, the industry association, the NGOs, and the clients to promote and advance sustainable maritime financing?
That is a good question. And at OCBC, we also strongly believe that collaboration is the key to achieving sustainability. So as a leading financial institution in Asia, we are in a unique position to access industry partners and solution providers across the region. Leveraging on our network of clients and industry partners, we seek to establish partnerships with solution providers in the sustainability space to enable us to provide more holistic support to our clients in their journey towards net zero. A recent example of this is OCBC sponsoring the OCBC Maritime Sustainability Innovation Prize as part of the Pier 71 Smart Port Challenge. This is a challenge that is jointly organised by the Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore and NUS Enterprise. Moving forward, we will continue to seek more opportunities for impactful collaborations in the maritime sector, so do keep a lookout for them.
Thank you, Vanessa. That is really impressive in terms of what OCBC is doing. Finally, Lars, over to you. How else does DNV can support organizations in the financial sector such as OCBC in looking to embark on their sustainability efforts?
Yeah, I think we are here located in Singapore, which is one of the leading maritime cities of the world, and it's definitely a place where the maritime and the financial industry can actually meet and work together. So we are positioned in a very good place. We've already talked about the Poseidon Principle reporting, but in addition to that, we offer eligibility assessments for green and sustainability-linked loans, which is helping the ship owners and guiding them on developing frameworks for how they can access these sustainable financing. We also do technical due diligence for mergers and acquisitions, so then we help ensuring that the investments are aligning with the sustainability goals of the investor. At DNV, we are deeply engaged in driving global transformation, and in that role, we are actually leading the transportation subgroup of the taxonomy workstream of Singapore Sustainable Financing Association. There we are sharing our expertise and industry best practices with the financial sector. Our goal is definitely to strengthen the collaboration between the maritime and the financial industry and to promote integration of sustainable principle throughout all operations. As we approach 2030 and beyond, the maritime sector needs to keep innovating and starting with new technologies and fuels, there's a big need for more capital, so we have to work with the financial institutions. And I think it's extremely important that companies not only comply with new regulations, but actually ensure a resilient fleet, which is sustainable, and those are the companies that in the end will be the most successful. So DNV is very proud to be a key player in this transformation, and we are very happy to be working with leading companies such as OCBC.
Fully agreed. Thank you, Lars. I firmly believe that sustainability is a shared global responsibility. Much like the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes the whole world to drive sustainability. To achieve meaningful progress in sustainability really requires close collaboration among the entire shipping value chain. Financiers in particular have a unique and critical role at the top of this chain. By fostering strong partnership with all stakeholders, from ship owners and operators to regulators and technology innovators, we can all drive the adoption of green technologies and sustainable practices. Together, we can ensure the maritime industry not only meets regulatory demands, but also builds a resilient and sustainable future. Once again, it is a pleasure to have both of you here. To our audience, stay tuned for more decarbonization insights from Singapore in our next episode. Thank you.